Okay, good morning, everyone. Today is December 7th. Thank you for being here. This is the Brand Power Hour. This is my free community for brand builders. I like to host an event once a month or once every other month so that I can help you build your brand and bring in experts to help you build your business. So if we haven't met before, I think we've all met. My name is Mallika Malhotra. I am the brand CEO. I work with women entrepreneurs just like yourselves, women who might be struggling with standing out in your marketplace. And the work that I do with them is really tighten their messaging, help them find their niche, and help them boost their visibility so that they can become the go-to expert. I have my signature offer, which is the mastermind, and two of the women here are in the mastermind, so they know very clearly how my program is a lot of tough love, where there's lots of things to do, but I am in it with them trying to get it done. And today we'll be talking about brand vision, which is a really important part of the foundation of your brand. And if you've been in some of my workshops or classes before, you know I don't like to be a talking head. So please lean on the chat so that we can make this a dialogue. I would love for all of you to share, let's keep this as like a networking event too, where you can share what you do, where you're from, so that we can all connect and collaborate and lean on each other, because it definitely takes a village to build a brand. So my style is interactive. It is, I'm going to share a lot of information. I almost give you not only just the what, but the how. So you'll know that you'll have templates and scripts to implement. And then there'll also be an invitation in the presentation if you want to maybe work with me in 2024. So with that said, please share, again, use the chat, share who you are, where you're from, and what you do. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I have a lot to share with you today. And thank you, Vanessa, for taking care of the letting people in. That is always super helpful. Okay, let me get my chat up. Okay, does everybody see my screen? Yes? Yes, okay, awesome. So welcome to Step Into Your Brand Vision. So I always like to start with a quote, and this one says, if your dreams don't scare you, they are too small. And so this is a whole idea about getting out of our comfort zone, right? Growth comes when you feel uncomfortable. And growth comes when you give yourself permission also to dream big for your business. So just by you all being here, it tells me that you are invested in your businesses, that you're invested in your growth, and you want to have a big vision for your brands. So my intention today is to give you the permission to dream big and to really encourage you to set some ambitious goals for 2024. I'm talking about, building a team, writing a book, getting on stage, right? Like some big things that'll be part of that movement that you're trying to make for your brand. So who am I? Why should you listen to me? Well, I am a former ad executive. I worked on big brands like Oil of Olay and L'Oreal, and everything that I learned in the corporate environment, I feel like I'm applying today, not only to my brand, but also with my clients. It's all about good strategy. It's all about creating campaigns for our brands so that we attract the right clients. I've been an entrepreneur for over 2 decades, which is like I'm aging myself here. It's hard to believe, but it is true. And I've had like multiple businesses, from selling handbags to selling brand photography, children's photography, and now going all in on brand strategy and mentorship. I wrote a book back in 2017 called The Brand Photography Playbook. It's available on Amazon if you're ever interested, or if maybe one of your goals for 2024 is to invest in becoming the face of your brand. That could be a good tool. And then you can connect with Elaine, who can take your pictures to get you there. If we haven't connected on Instagram, please follow me at mallikamalhotra.co. That is where I love to be. I love to connect and get to know you better as well. On the personal level, I'm a mom of 3 boys, 21, 19, and 14, 2 in college, 1 still at home, but acts like he's not. I moved, and now I'm a Mainer. Some of you are from the state of Maine or in New England. I've been here for 3 years. And if you know me or just meeting me, you will know that I'm obsessed with niching and would love to help you niche your brand if that was something that you were feeling challenged with. Okay, so let's talk about today. We're going to talk about branding. I'm gonna kind of pull out to a macro level. We're gonna talk about branding, and then we're gonna zone in onto brand vision and why it matters. And I'm gonna give you guys some prompts so that it can help you start asking yourself some questions where you can start envisioning that future of your brand. I think the biggest problem or obstacle is the time allotted to this exercise. We are always in the weeds, right? Doing the work, delivering the client things, products, services. But sometimes we don't just sit back and just think about the future forecast of our business. And it's a perfect time of year to do that. And so I will share with you a template, like a fill in the blank Mad Lib for you, so that you can start, crafting your own brand vision statement. And hopefully by the end, you'll be inspired, and this will sort of trickle down into other things that you might want to start doing with your brand. Okay, so let's start with, what is your brand, right? Your brand is your reputation. It's like that first impression that you make with your business, with your products and services. It's the promise that you're making to your audience. And it's like the story that you're telling. I think often we think branding is your website and your logo and your fonts and your colors. And all of those are important. We have Christy here, who is like my go-to web designer that I recommend a lot of people to. They're all important, but it has to start with strategy and the story that you want to tell. And so ask yourself, do you feel good about your brand? Are you building the reputation that you want? This is what your invitation is to the audience that you're trying to serve. So branding is what shapes the perception of your business in the customer's mind. And we know that this customer's mind is full of noise. There is so much information overload out there. So whatever brand that we're shaping and the story that we're telling has to be crystal clear, direct, and focused, so that it actually penetrates their mind and is something that's memorable. So it's important for us to do the work to create this brand, because it can build that emotional connection and it can affect their decision making. So here's some examples just to show you the power of brand, right? We spend $5 on coffee, some of us, to go to Starbucks because of the power of the brand, because of the experience that it gives us. They have their own language, Starbucks, and we are saying venti and all of this because of the power of the brand. We could easily go to the gas station and get a cup of coffee, but we don't, because Starbucks does a great job creating a story around their brand. We can wear regular sneakers, or we can put on those Nike sneakers, and guess what? We feel like an athlete even if we are not. It is something about the brand that just do it. It's that inspiration of, unleashing your inner athlete. You could get a gift, but if you get this blue box and there's not even a brand on it, just the color, there is something of value, of quality in that. And you are so excited that someone has thought of you and went to Tiffany. That is the power of the brand. So it matters, right? All of us, many of us are probably in the same service industry. Maybe we're offering the same products or programs. Maybe it's the same price point. It is crowded, it is noisy. So we have to go beyond a pretty logo on a website to stand out. We have to create a brand that actually has soul and depth, and it is meaningful, because today, 2023, going into 2024, people connect with people. It's not just faceless businesses. When someone's hiring a fitness trainer, and they go onto Vanessa's website or on her Instagram, she's the face of her brand. She's telling stories about her family. She's a mother of 2 young children. She's talking about real issues, and it's building that bridge and connection. And so you trust her. So you have to build that brand story. Otherwise, you're going to turn into a commodity, and that's a very risky place to be. Okay. So more reasons why we need to create this brand. It gives your business a story, an identity, a reputation. It makes you unforgettable, right? Like if you're telling someone all of the things about your brand, who you are, who you serve, what you stand for, how you're different, those are points that I might be able to remember. Even if you're not for me, maybe you're for someone in my network, I can remember that. When you build your brand, it builds the trust and it can warm up cold leads. It can shorten that decision-making buying cycle. And it can definitely set you apart from the competition. And we all need that because we're probably all in crowded industries. Branding can also validate your price. If you're positioning your brand in the right way as a specialist, as an expert, you're able to raise your price and you make more money. And it can also just elevate your confidence so that you feel some pride in your business. So we want to move beyond the logo, right? We want to think about our branding as an experience. And this is exactly what I have been doing with my own brand, with my community, with my clients. And I've created this brand CEO method to help people kind of visually see what the stages, what the steps are to create this type of brand. So I want to share it with you. So this is my framework of how to create a brand. And there are 3 different stages, right? What we're talking about today, brand vision, actually fits into this brand brilliance stage because this is our own self-discovery of like who we are and how we're different than everybody else. And it falls under brand purpose, right? Your mission, your vision, your values. This is the purpose behind your business. It's not just about products and services, but there's also like your strengths and your skills, your power, your vibe, right? That emotional connection, your personality. All of these are very important to know first to build the foundation of your brand. Then we move into defining your secret sauce, which is my favorite part of branding, which is all about finding that power niche, being very precise in this is my specific expertise, my specific audience, a specific competitive edge, and maybe even a specific solution. So you're sharing your prowess. You're even sharing a point of view that you might have. And even if it's polarizing, that's even better because it makes you differentiated. And then the last part of building this memorable, referable, and magnetic brand is how do you actually deliver it to your audience? Do you have a process? I know a lot of my clients, they're working on their framework, right? Do you have an offer, a signature talk? What are that intellectual property that you're sharing? And then how are you showing up visibility wise? So each of these pieces are important, but because it's a wheel, sometimes you come in where you need to come in. It's not like A plus B plus C. You often might be coming in here and then you're jumping to the brand expertise and then you're going back to the competitive edge. Branding is ongoing and it's never done. Many of my clients know this because they stay with me over and over because we're always working on our brand. So today, we're talking about brand vision. But before we get into that, any questions about just the macro vision of branding? I want to just make sure that everybody is clear on that and how we're now going to a more micro part of the foundation. I'll take a sip of water. Everyone's good? All right. So what is brand vision? That's where we're here today. We're talking about the future forecast of your business and brand. I want to ask you, where do you see yourself? 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, 10 years, I'll be 61. Who knows? I might even be a grandmother. I don't know. I like to kind of keep it between 1 and 3 years personally, because so much can change. And really, you know, the pandemic taught us that. Like sometimes seeing it more in a micro view can help you gain traction because you never know what's going to happen in life or to the world. But you still have to ask yourself those questions. So your brand vision is the process involved in dreaming big and setting the stage for the future direction of your business. This is sort of the practice that's going to help you keep moving forward, thinking about where you want to be. And it should be specific and clear and direct. And often, like I said in the beginning of the presentation, we often get bogged down in just the day-to-day minutia. And we don't think about the future of our brand, where we want to stretch to, where we want to go. And this is what's going to not only inspire you and motivate you, but if you have a team, it will motivate the team. And if you are daring to be transparent, if you share it with your audience, which is I'm a big proponent of, will also inspire your audience because people like to hang out with people who have dream big, who have big aspirations. So you don't want to just keep this always to yourself. So dreaming and scheming, we want to paint the picture of your dream business. We want to tell your customers the future of your brand and where you want to take it. And we want to take them along with us. This is really, really inspiring. And that energy, that vibe is very contagious. The hardest part is the dreaming and scheming, because I know even personally that permission to dream big was always a hard thing for me. It's easier to stay in your box and check the boxes and do really well. When you start dreaming big, you're actually rocking the boat a little bit. And that's where the growth comes. I've had really good mentors and coaches who've pushed me to dream bigger and challenged me of why I'm staying small. There's no room for small. So grab your pen and paper, because I'm going to give you some prompts, and I want you to just kind of think about these things as we start dreaming and scheming. So if money or fear were not an issue for you, what would you be selling? Maybe something different. What would you be known for? What would your day and life look like? What would you be doing differently? I'll give you just a minute to kind of think about those. I know there are a lot of questions. You can pick one, or you can try to answer all of them. You can take a screenshot, but really think about, like, would your day and life look different? Would you maybe start later in the day at 10 a.m.? I know 5 years ago, before I met Vanessa, who's my fitness coach, I would just roll right into work. I would drop my kids off at the bus stop and I'd roll right into work, thinking I had to start as early as possible because, like, I didn't have enough time. Of course, my kids are older now, but now I start work after a meditation, after my gratitude journal, after a workout and a healthy breakfast, because that is what I had envisioned for myself. And it took work to get there, but I'm finally there. I have like this morning ritual that is pretty amazing, and I've, hired people and worked with people to help me with that. But it all comes from actually defining what you want first. And what would you be doing differently? Maybe you wouldn't be doing the editing in front of your computer, which people don't even understand. They think they just get these pictures. It takes hours, guys. The culling, the editing, the Photoshop. It is stages of like steps, but maybe the next version of you actually outsources that so that you have more time for yourself and for your family, right? If money or fear were not an issue, who would you become? Who would be your clients? Maybe you could fire all of your existing clients because they're not high quality clients, and maybe you would go for a different type of client. Who would be on your team? Maybe you need to hire an online business manager or a VA or a personal assistant, right? Who would you partner with? Maybe you would maybe you would bring a copywriter on your team, or a graphic designer, or a junior coach if you're doing something. Who would be these partners on your team? And it's like, again, if money or fear were not an issue, if you were just like feeling free and just brain dumping all of this, just thinking about that. A big one is that who would you become? I always share the story. Like, I speak a lot now and I do a lot of speaking gigs, but I was never a good speaker before. Like 10 years ago, I would hate it. I would die. But I really had to change my mindset, because I felt like the woman I wanted to be was someone who was confident on stage, because I have a lot of things I want to share. I have a lot of things I want to teach. So I had to change my mindset of becoming that woman who is confident, who is generous, who isn't stumbling on her words, who takes chances and risks of, like, sending out a masterclass and hoping people will show up, right? Like, it's all part of the process of growing. If money or fear were not an issue, where would you be working? Would you still be working at home? Would you be doing something else? Where would you be living? Maybe you'd be a nomad, traveling the world. Where would you be spending your time? Where would you be spending your money? If money or fear were not an issue, are you ready to, like, invest in hiring press or publicists to finally get your name out there and be in magazines. Like I think of you, Jalpa, like maybe investing in like so you can get into Architectural Digest and Elle magazine, because your work is so beautiful and more people need to know it, and that's an aligned audience, right? If money or fear were not an issue. Okay, I'm gonna take, let's see, what do I have here? Doreen that's literally what I'm doing before coming. She's editing. Well, Doreen, I have a contact for you that I'm gonna share with Elaine. You might need to outsource. I have someone who did all of my editing. Vanessa says, oh my God, even editing reels, it takes so much time. Yes, exactly. Like you should be working on the workouts, right? And should be working on speaking or getting on podcasts to build the funnel to get more people into your world, and maybe delegating those reels, or maybe doing less reels. Maybe you don't even have to do that many reels, right? Jalpa, go ahead.
So I went to the Luminary a couple of days back for an event where there were these women who are women that innovate. And one of the things that you say, giving yourself permission to think big. I think in the humility of being thankful and grateful for the clients that you get in your small business as a jewelry designer, I forget that when people talk finance and seed funding and $30 million that I've raised in the third round of funding, it used to make me feel so small and like how will I ever get there? I don't have an MBA. I'm a jewelry designer. But when I went to this event and I was in the presence of all these 30 and 35-year-olds who were out there, women of color, diverse women out there talking to men in finance, I realized it's just about getting out of your comfort zone and letting yourself believe that, not everyone is super smart and a genius who went to Harvard. They've learned along the way. They've hired the right people, surrounded themselves with the right people. And it was just very inspiring that it's okay not to know everything, but it's important to try. Like you with your speaking on stage, me with being in front of the camera on Instagram. Like that's my biggest fear in life, is being in front of the camera. And then there are these women who are like, oh yeah, I'm going to be disrupting the healthcare industry and I'm on my third round of funding and I just got $30 million. I'm like, she's probably smarter than me in terms of what she did, but that doesn't mean that I'm dumb, So that perspective was very helpful to me, to just go out there and get out there.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you for sharing that, because I think it's important. Like when we see women who are killing it and doing these big things, like remove the jealousy and like, that's amazing. We should be cheering them on. Like if they can do it, that means that we could do something as well. And it should be all about that supportive network of, there's enough abundance and space for all of us, right? And so see it as like something really inspiring. And you know what, Jalpa, like people are going to look at your talent as a jewelry designer, like
you.
Ladies here in the group, if you don't know Jalpa, like we are not going to minimize that. Like you cannot just wake up and be a jewelry designer and a gemologist. Like you worked with big brands, you do beautiful work, you have, you know how to design beautiful pieces of jewelry that feel like art. So all of us have these skills and these strengths, and it's just a question of packaging it in a way so that you are seen as an expert, as a leader, as an authority. You're attracting the right clients, and then you're continuously growing, right? And that's what this work is doing that today, right? Continuously growing so that you're not just in your bubble. You're doing great work in your bubble, but that bubble can get bigger and stronger and maybe take you somewhere else. You never know. So the fourth prompt, how would you be working? How much money would you be making? And I know we as women, we hate to talk about money. We hate to set, goals. Right now, and where I have a book club in Maine, and the book is called Financial Feminist, and it's really teaching me a lot about this, of like the struggles that we as women have with money. There's no shame, and there's no shame in wanting to make money, because when women make money, we have impact. We usually invest it back in communities and our families. And maybe you want a designer bag. Good for you. Like there's nothing wrong with that. So, but you have to set these goals. And a big one is, how would you be feeling? I always think, like, when you can really think about that feeling, like I did, confident on stage, um, confident building a community, and then you reverse engineer the steps that need to get you there. Really understanding what you want your brand to look and feel like. So it's about stepping into that next best version of yourself and imagining the possibility. Who do you want to be? How do you want to feel? What do you want to be known for? And you might not be there yet, and that's okay, but define what it is so that now you can take the steps to get there. Because it's all about having that path, that success path. And if you're not defining where you want to go, you're just going to be aimlessly wandering around. And that's kind of the problem, part of the problem. And that's where creating a brand vision statement for yourself can really help you in the direction that you want to take your business. This is our way to express, like, your movement. I talk that about a lot, about a movement for your brand, taking your mission and your vision and your values and creating this movement. This is where we are taking our clients, our community, we're moving them to this better place using your product and service. This is about the impact that you want to make. And it's really bigger than your products and services, right? For me, yes, I do brand strategy, I mentor people, but it's bigger than that. It's about confidence and leadership and having women make more money and have impact. Because if they can do that, they inspire more women and it becomes this domino effect. So, what is a brand vision statement? This is a tool that's going to describe the future state that you're ultimately working towards, right? It's going to help you when you have some great months or rough months or detours or roadblocks, because it's going to keep you on track. It's going to inspire you to keep moving along. It's almost like, because I was a photographer, we have a few photographers here, think about it as a picture of the future business that you have. And now you're giving it some shape and direction, and you're building the bridge of where you want to go. And it's different. People are always like, mission versus vision. How is that different? Mission is your why, of why you're doing this work right now. And your vision is where you want to take your business. So why is it important? So again, it is going to be what inspires you. It's going to be what inspires your team, what inspires your audience, and it's going to keep you on track. Because if you're like me, you might have some shiny object syndrome and you're trying to do all the things that come your way, but it will really help keep you grounded. And you can look at your mission, which is why you do your business, and your vision of where you want to take it. And whenever something comes, an opportunity, you have a new idea, you go back to those two pillars and you make sure it is in alignment, and that will ground you and not take you in all sorts of different directions. This is going to keep you going in the right direction, to keep you strategic, to keep you intentional. Because, branding is hard and you can go in lots of different directions, especially if you are on your own. So we want to make sure that we are on track, and this is where that brand vision is going to take us. So let's talk about how we even create that. So this is my Mad Lib fill in the blank that I'm going to share with you, and it is a guideline. So don't feel like you're tied to it. I don't want to put you in a box, but sometimes it's easier to see something and kind of fill it in to get you started. So I'm going to share the template, and then I'm going to share with you some examples of some of my clients and how they have taken this to define their own vision statement. So I like to keep it 3-year mark. Like I said, I used to do 10 years, but then when the pandemic happened, it's like I can't even think that far ahead. So let's just keep it, especially as entrepreneurs, it's so tumultuous. Let's keep it in the 3-year range. So 3 years from now, your brand will be known as the authority in what? Your expertise. It could be your thought leadership. It could be a key attribute. It could be your industry. But I want you to put a stake in the ground. You're going to be known as authority for what? And get specific. Could even include your ideal client audience, your thought leadership within this group. Your brand will, and this is where you can, plug in your favorite action verb, empower, guide, whatever you want, your unique offering, So do you have a program? Do you have a framework or a formula for your ideal target, empowering them to achieve this ultimate result? So this is like that future forecast for your brand. You want to be known for this. You're going to be creating or building this unique offering for this market, and you're empowering them to do this. This is all part of that movement. Yes, Elaine, what is your question?
I have a hard time because I have two audience and I can't let it go of any of those.
Mhm.
I have narrowed down more, but my two audience, my two big, like my passion service is newborn, but
Mhm.
also women, make them feel beautiful and good about themselves. So that include branding or, you know, any celebration of their life. How do I?
It's hard. So you could, okay. So this is hard. And I was in your shoes. It's very hard because you have multiple messages, multiple audiences. And to be honest, when I did this, when people would go to my website and they would see that I was doing children photography and it was a brand photography client, they were like, I don't want to work with her because she's doing kids. She's
Yeah.
expert in business. So the niche in question is a bigger question that you'll probably have to ask yourself. But if you are like, I need the two audiences, this is part of my business, I'm not ready to transition, not ready yet,
Just one.
then you have to figure out an overarching brand. So you now have to speak to the vision that applies to both businesses. So it becomes more generic. That's the problem. So are you the best storyteller in New England? And it is done with babies and it's done with businesswomen, right? Like, is that the overarching? 3 years from now, you know, Elaine Photography will be known as the leader of powerful storytelling photography in New England. She will empower her clients through her storytelling framework, empowering them to connect more with their families and their business. But you can see it's diluted, right? It's like
Yeah.
a little bit different versus, I'll show you. Okay, so this is my client, Rebecca Ryan, Serving Up Social. She's a brand photographer. Very specific. 3 years from now, Serving Up Social Photography by Rebecca Ryan will be revered as the go-to brand photographer for savvy female entrepreneurs. Very specific. She'll be known for transforming her clients into industry experts and bringing their brands to life with outstanding photography. Rebecca's legacy will go beyond, oh, excuse my spelling, beyond the lens. She will empower female entrepreneurs through visibility coaching, visual storytelling workshops, and a VIP brand photography program. Very specific, right? Like, so this would, if she were to share this, some women who are in business might be like, oh my God, that's awesome. Like, she's speaking to me. I want to be part of her community. I want to learn about not only brand photography, but she can help me with coaching. She has a workshop. So you can see how the power becomes more increased because she's become more niche.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Could I? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Abby.
Sorry, Mallika, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to add, this is something that I struggle with also, and just a suggestion, Elaine, like if you cannot quite like put a pin in the niche so specifically, maybe speaking more broadly to your experience, what your clients could experience overall working with you that sets you apart from other photographers. So that kind of drills into this experience of sharing their newborn baby and, you know, that all that excitement and joy, but also, you know, maybe you're photographing someone's, you know, new business and empowering that woman, but the experience that they're going to get with you is going to be unlike what they would get with somebody else. So you really can tell those two stories, but more tailored to you as an individual and what they'll get working with you. Just a thought.
That's a great point, Abby. And it could be like, you know, you are this master storyteller in photography, and your vision is you have now created a formula. So it doesn't matter if it's newborns or teens or brand or real estate, you have created this storytelling formula that people can use and you can sell, that can be for everyone. That's the vision, is that you're the master storyteller. And now you've created a methodology that can be used for all different genres for photographers so that they can tell better stories and help their clients connect on a deeper level. So that could be where the vision of the business is. So it's like, then you have to think, okay, now I have to create this framework and formula, but that could be the overarching piece that allows you to have these multiple audiences. So do you see how that can play in the vision of your business? And then you could sell the framework or you teach the framework. So it's less about the actual client work and it's bigger than that. It's about teaching intellectual property. So, and that's where I get excited because we are so much into like, oh, I do this service and that. It could be so much bigger than that, right? Like I don't even for Rebecca, she does brand photography. I don't even think she had some of these workshops or some of these things, but we were stretching her to see how like the problem with some brand photography, the photographers know this, is that sometimes when people hire you, then that's it. Then you have to find the next client and then the next client. So she was trying to scale the brand to actually have repeat business with the same clients. And that's where we kind of came up with this vision statement. Another example. So this is Andrea. She is a web designer and she's one of my mastermind clients right now. And so hers is in 3 years, she wants to be the go-to brand designer for what we're calling statement branding. You know, it's not just a website or a logo, but it's like creating this bigger, comprehensive branding for more seasoned entrepreneurs to help them get to the next level. Her vision is to create a world where business owners confidently embrace their authenticity, sharing their unique visions. Andrea dedicates herself to fostering a community of leaders who fearlessly express their stories through intentional visual branding, inspiring others, and building meaningful connections. So you can tell when you read this, it has like this inspiring vibe to it that makes you feel like almost hopeful or inspiring. It should feel like that when you're writing it. You can get nitty gritty and talk about certain things you want to launch in 3 years, but you can also keep it broad based. So it's just kind of the guideline I gave you. You can kind of work with it however you want, but really the objective is describing what you want the future of your business to look like. So then there's mine. 3 years from now, Mallika Malhotra, the brand CEO, will be the go-to brand expert for female entrepreneurs worldwide and known for her mastery in niche branding. She'll be a paid speaker on global stages, sharing her brand CEO method and bullseye branding formula. Her legacy will be in championing women and leading a worldwide community of leaders and change makers. So I probably can stretch because I feel like I wrote this a while ago and I'm kind of getting there, which is exciting. I probably can stretch and think more about how to get out of my comfort zone and do something more. Being a paid speaker, I do a lot of free speaking, full transparency. I'm starting to get paid. I'd love to get like, you know, $1,000 gig to be on stage somewhere. That would be the dream. So like all of those things I have written down and I'm trying to, move my brand towards it. But for now, I'm getting gigs that are $250, $500, but it's better than unpaid. So it's always a work in progress. Okay, so just kind of a recap of what that template was. Alana, I love it. You've already written yours. Can you read it to us?
Sure, it's very rough, but 3 years from now, 207 Connections, operated by Alana Vos, will be sought after by businesses that are seeking ways to generate more leads or clients by networking. Alana is known as a business matchmaker. People run to Alana when they need to be connected to someone in order to grow their business.
Yeah, I love it. I would actually flip the content to be 3 years from now. 2007 Connections will be known as the go-to business matchmaker. And I don't know if you even want to put a location there, if you want to keep it in New England or something like that, or maybe you want it to be global or national.
Someday.
Yeah. And maybe you'll have a team of people that are doing the networking for you so business owners can focus on doing business, right?
That is my dream.
That's your dream. So like you build a reputation, maybe you build a team, maybe then you build your own framework, right? Maybe you become this speaker that goes on stage that talks about networking and how to do it the right way. Maybe you have a podcast that's all about networking. Maybe you write a book, right? So now it's like all these things that can happen because you're actually owning networking and business matchmaking. So now for me, it's like, that's where the brand is starting and you could start to build more and more. So thank you for sharing. I love that you wrote that. So now as you're writing these, now what do? Well, print it out, keep it next to you, put it on a Post-it, keep it as your screensaver, because this is what's going to remind you of where you want to go. And then share with your community. Do a live or an Instagram story, because you know what? Leaders have big dreams and they're not afraid to share them. So go out there and share the brand vision. But then use this also as a way to set your goals, right? So if you know you want to be the go-to business matchmaker, then what do you need to do next for 2024? What needs to change? What do you need to do? Who do you need to be? What do you need to invest in? Who do you need to collaborate with to get you there, right? So it's all about having the vision and then setting some of these more tactical goals that you can do in 2024. So here's some ideas. Maybe it's you're going to write a book. I have a lot of clients that's like part of their goals. I want to write a book. I want to launch a podcast. I want to speak on stages. Maybe you're ready to launch a new program, update an old program. Maybe you want to hire or outsource. Maybe you need to hire a coach or a mentor. Maybe it's time to develop that framework. Maybe you need to buy a new camera, a new equipment, right? Maybe you need to hire Christy and develop a new website. Like, think about the vision and then think about what you need to reverse engineer to get you there for 2024, right? And it's about, the actual work, but it's also about the personal. Maybe you need summer Fridays all year, right? To keep you sane, to keep you productive. But start setting those goals. It's like, this is the best time of year to do that. Keep the vision, set the goals, and then, look at first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and really, start taking those steps, those needle movers, so that you can get momentum and see progress. So you want to take brand action. Again, print out that vision statement, keep it close to you. Declare your 3 goals for Q1. What do you want to do just in Q1, right? And then share those goals and vision publicly. It is going to keep you accountable. I mean, this is what we do in the Brand Breakthrough Mastermind, my group. It's like sharing, declaring, so that it keeps you accountable. And then I'm like on your ass if you like that. Record a video on social media, communicating your future goals, right? Let people see you. You're a human. You're the face of your brand. Let them hear what your goals are. It's very inspiring. That energy is contagious. Or get help from a mentor to help you fast track your brand. And so this is my invitation to you, and I mentioned in the beginning, that if you're ready for that, if you want to fast track your brand, if you want to not only work on your vision, but other things, I am launching the Brand Breakthrough Mastermind in January, in the new year. It's 4 months, it's small, 16 women. I keep it small intentionally because I've been in programs that there are 50 people, 100 people, and you don't get good coaching in my mind. My clients can tell you, like, I think about your businesses as if it's my own business. And so if you want to get that clarity, if you need the help, I would love to invite you. If this is in alignment with your goals, there's no hard sell here, but if it feels an alignment to you, I'm doing some free calls, 30-minute calls, where we can talk about your brand vision. We could see if you're a good match for the mastermind, and then you immediately qualify for $500 off the program. The program is $4,500 for 4 months, and we meet weekly, and it is small, and you get access to me and all of my tools. So there's a QR code here. I'm also going to put in the chat if you're interested in booking a call with me, feel free to do that. I would love to talk to you more about your business and brand and what your goals are for 2024. So coming back to brand vision, I love this quote. It doesn't matter how fast you can go, how much passion you have, it doesn't matter how much energy you put into something. If you don't have a vision and clarity on the destination you want to reach, you're simply never going to get there. And that's the truth, right? Like, you really need to have clarity on where you're going. Otherwise, you're not going to get there. So just as a recap, in the last few minutes, we talked about branding, we talked about vision, why it matters. You have some prompts, the vision statement, and how to create it. And I hope you do some work on that, and definitely tag me and share it with me. I would love to hear it, or book that call if you'd like to talk more in detail. But just to remember that this vision that you have, this is your lighthouse, right? Often entrepreneurial life and business, it gets foggy, we get lost, we get off track. But when you revisit your vision, it's going to keep you on track. It's going to be your guide. It's going to help you to stay focused. So here's just a few more how we can connect if we're not connected already. And now would love if anybody has any questions. We have a good 10 minutes. Would love to answer any questions. Yeah, Abby, I think you're new to me. So you are in Central PA, you're an interior designer. Awesome.
I am. Hi, I'm sorry. I was a few minutes late. This was awesome.
Good. How did we connect? I'm just curious.
So I just joined the WBL Capital Region. So maybe in November. So I've been to like a couple meetings, and I've connected with some of the ladies there, and they're.
Oh, I think you froze on me. Oh no, I think you froze. Well, so for those of you who don't know what WBL, it's amazing. Elaine is in it, I'm in it, and Abby's in it. Such a great group. It's primarily in New England, but they are growing. So they have a virtual group. I would definitely highly recommend it. You froze on us, Abby. Sorry about that.
Oh no, sorry.
Okay.
I hope I froze in a cool pose at least.
So you're new to WBL, you're in Pennsylvania, and you're an interior designer. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I'm
Well,
just starting that like networking journey. I literally launched my business in August, and I'm just like blazing through trying to figure out what's right for me, what's not. There's a lot out here, which is like good and bad. So, but I think WBL is a really nice spot for me because I feel really comfortable in my interior design space, but running a business and connecting locally has been, kind of the opportunity for me. So yeah. So I saw you come up.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so glad you're here and that we're connected.
Thank you.
On put your Instagram, because I'll find you on Instagram.
Yeah. Please. Anyone. I love Instagram.
Before I get to Elaine, I'm just going to look at Joppa. Do you think Jolly would be good for me? I'm being very selective. I think you should attend. They have a free open house. I think, Elaine, is there one coming up? I feel like I've seen an email that says there's one. Vanessa, are you going to that?
There's
I think there is some meeting that you just be part of it, but I think also you can visit some chapters as a one-time free. You can try to reach out chapters around you and trying to visit them on their meetings, because I think you can go to the chapters for free. So you have to reach out the chapters.
Yeah, I would start with the free. I'll see if I can find the open house. But I would go there. What I like about it, Joppa, and you know me, I'm very transparent. The women who join, they spend $600 to join. So you know that they are invested in building community, in networking, in their businesses. They are quality women instead of something that's like $19 a month and like nobody attends. Their events are well attended and the leaders are hands-on. Like, they are in it, their energy is contagious, they have good leadership skills. It's not like some other groups that I might be in where you know who the leader is, but she's never really around. She's only around when she's selling. So that to me is the difference. And it has been a game changer for my growth here in Maine in terms of connections, stuff like that. So highly, highly recommend it. I'll see if I can find that link for you. Elaine, you have a question.
I just want to say thank you. This was amazing. Thank you for offering this. It's like I've gone to a lot of powerhouse, but yours is just brings us like attention to what we have been doing. So I really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you.
And this resonate a lot with what I've been doing. And you said like a year from now, what do you want to be? When this year I decided to have my studio, I knew I was going to go crazy. My mind was going to be full. So I decided I had to do like yoga twice a week. I had to do some nature walk. I had to spend some time doing exercise. And it's hard because we have like a to-do list to do and we have so many things. But that made my sanity on the balance level. So I just met Vanessa, that I know she's a health coach or fitness
Join
coach.
us. Join us.
So I mean, this is something you could even do a live, and it's about like, because we are so invested in everything we do, like in our family, in our business. And I knew that if I was not going to take time for myself to do some things for self-care, I was gonna go bananas. And then and the reason that I'm telling this is like, I love your beginning of the presentation, dream big. And this year I dreamed big, and it was scary. It was scary that it took me 2 days crying on the couch, watching TV, and just crying for 2 full days before I made the decision to do my studio. And that is like, because I was scared, right? Fear just take over. But after crying so long, I decided, I made the decision, and it's just like dreaming big. I'm trying, and everything what you said, it was just like, oh my gosh, she's just speaking to me. It
Oh.
was like resonate, and I just appreciate. And about the reels, like everybody who has fear, and I've been posting a lot of reels, and people come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so great. And I'm like, I sweat before I do the videos.
You're not alone, Jalpa. See, everybody.
Right? It's not like, all right. And they're like, but you're so great. I'm like, yes, but I have to like take like 5 deep breathing before I like, all right, let's just do it and whatever. And no makeup. Sometimes I do it with no makeup. The hair is a mess. And people are seeing it. So just go for it. Jalpa, I highly recommend for you to just put your face out there, because that's what people wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Yeah.
I can never say this word, authenticity.
Authenticity, yes.
Yeah.
Because
English is my second language, so I'm sorry about that.
but it's important, right? Like to be the face of your brand, to connect on a human level. Like it is the most important thing right now with AI, all the bots. People want to connect with people. And so
Real people, right?
even
Real
if it
connection.
feels hard, you should just, and it's like a muscle. You just keep doing it, and then it gets easier and easier. So
Yes.
go ahead.
There was a woman at the summit that talked about AI twinning. They are creating twins of you now. So if you have the fear of social media, your twin will go on social media. I was like, wait, what? The world is such a scary place now. It's like,
That's very scary,
it's
actually.
scary. Yeah.
But I feel like I had to look for a service to do the Google ads, Facebook ads, and there's so much out there. But I was scared of doing and joining a company, but I was like, what if I don't trust? Like, so you have to send it the trust through your social media, so people trust you and know you're a real person. That's what it's been working for me.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at Vanessa's, Vanessa and I've been working on her vision statement because she's in my masterminds. We've been going back and forth, and I've been I hope it's okay, Vanessa, but the first time she wrote it, I was like, listen, you're already doing this stuff now in my mind. Like, you're already doing this. What more can you do? Do you want a team of trainers? Do you want, I don't know, you want to be on TV as like the go-to health correspondent? Maybe, right? And so I just love she has tweaked it, and now you can read Vanessa's legacy will go beyond the mat. She will create a team of top level trainers will empower working moms through thought leadership, podcasts, videos, and speaking engagements at conferences and events to showcase our expertise and elevate awareness about our transformative vision. So it just feels big, and I love it, because now you have like, you know how to like move your business, right? It's not just about one client at a time, which is where we usually are. I want one more client. I want one more client. That is important too, but like we also want to set these big, loftier goals so that we can keep moving our business forward. So awesome. Anyone else have anything to share, or like a goal that they're trying to achieve for 2024? Like what's on your list? We have a minute left. I would just love to hear, or put it in the chat. If anyone wants to share, but would love to, next month, I'm doing another masterclass, brand new. It's called Brand Mastery's 3 Secrets to Building a 6-Figure Brand. I haven't written it yet. It's coming. I have to write it this month, but that's coming next month. And that's going to be another event with another, full transparency, because that's what I am. These are conversion events, right? Inviting people so I can share my knowledge, share my expertise. Then also the invitation is, to work with me for that brand breakthrough mastermind that starts on January 22nd. But it is another masterclass, another way to learn how to build your brand. And that's coming up. I think it's going to be on January 11th. So when you get the recording for today, you will also get the link to join me on that one. And I'm excited because it's brand new. I'm going to be creating some new content. So would love to see you there. And so save chat, because there are lots of people here who you might want to connect with and follow. And if you are interested, again, I'm going to put my scheduler there. If you want to jump on a free 30-minute chat, we can talk about your brand vision. If you're interested in the mastermind, we'd be happy to tell you. And even just coming on that call, you would get $500 off of the program. But if it's not alignment, no big deal. Love that you're in my community, and would love to see you guys next month for the next masterclass. So thank you for being here. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Can I ask
Thank
this really
you.
quickly? How
Yes.
can I save the chat?
The buttons at the bottom, and then you click it. It says save chat. You see that? At the very
this
bottom.
one. Like after the last one?
So right, like in the talking box, if you go, not the chat box, if you see there's like a pencil, a happy face, there's 3 dots.
Got it.
Yeah, you got it.
I knew there was a little thing. I just couldn't find it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for being here. All right, guys.
Yeah.